Welcome back, everybody, to my back porch, where today I'm gonna be building the world's coolest smart pergola with motorized louvers and programmable roller shades. I'm excited to show this one off, so let's get started on Modern Builds. I am very excited for installation day, but we did a day of prep to get the back deck ready for this pergola. I started by removing deck boards where I'm going to be pouring concrete footers underneath the pergola feet. I used a hidden screw jig when I installed these boards that screwed them in from the edge at an angle. That was my last video. Feel free to check that out. Link will be in the description. I added a little bit of extra 2x4 and 1x4 blocking to help close off the form for this footing. And then after adding a little bit of tape to help seal everything off, it was time to mix up the concrete. I went for a slightly drier mix here, that way it wouldn't run through any of the cracks in the formwork that I made. And after spraying down the dirt where I'm going to be applying this concrete, I started shoveling it in place. And I really worked it into the corners of this form I had made. This concrete footing will come up flush with the wooden joists that the deck boards screw onto, and I added a few sticks of rebar that I cut with my angle grinder to help prevent flexing or cracking. I just wiggled these into the concrete until they were submerged halfway into the pour. And then I screeded the concrete flat with the joists. And on this footing that's going to be close to the house, I used some expansion foam to make sure that it's not pushing on the foundation. Here in Southern California, the Joshua Tree Desert, I don't really have to worry about a frost line with my footings. They can sit on the surface of the ground. But if you're in a colder climate, you're going to want to bury these concrete footings beneath the frost line so that they don't move on you with the changing of the seasons. With each concrete pour, I screeded everything flat and then waited about a half hour. Then I came back with a trowel and an edge trowel to address the corners. This also helped me smooth everything out before I came back the next day and cleaned it all up. This really worked out great. My deck boards can screw right back down where they were, and the pergola can sit on top of those deck boards, but they're going to be supported by these concrete footings, and I'll be able to anchor them in with some concrete anchors. You'll see that later. And now it's time for our pergola assembly. Let's see what's inside. These look really heavy duty. They gotta be our vertical posts. And big shout out to Smart Wings. Everything was packed really well. Every piece was packed with multiple layers of plastic to protect it. They also had a sticker with a letter on it, and this lets you know what that part is, and in the instruction manual, that tells you what to do with it. I started by getting 2 of my vertical columns and then connecting them to my horizontal support beam. The screws I needed were in the bracket, so I just removed them, slid my piece in place, and then tightened everything down, making sure that it was locked in at 90 degrees. And really quick, I've got to say, everything to do with this Smart Wings Flexar pergola frame is very heavy duty. It's all metal construction. Awesome! After that first 10-foot wide section was complete, I set it to the side and then built the second, all the same way. Except this time, I used an impact driver on the screws, and that really sped things up. And here, you can see me attaching the mounting bracket to the bottom of the posts before I got a hand from my buddy Shane, moving these roughly into place before attaching our long 13-foot support beam. In the next shot, you'll see how these pieces slide together and lock in place really nicely. At times, this is definitely a 2-person task, but I didn't find any of these individual steps very difficult, and that's awesome. Nice! Next, we shimmied the pergola to its final resting place and then made sure everything was sitting really plumb and that the opening at the top was the same at the bottom. Nailed it! After that, I added a support bracket to each corner along with this rubber protector for the gutters that are about to go in. And what's crazy is the gutters have built-in LEDs. This is gonna be very cool. It's a bit difficult to see because of the sun going down, but these gutters have a French cleat on the back that allow them to snap into place on these support beams. And in the front 13-foot gutter, I slid in this linear actuator before install, and it's what controls and moves the louvers. And this right here is the Matter Smart Controller. It's what the lights and the louvers, everything else plugs into, and this allows it all to be programmable, wirelessly controlled from your phone. It goes right up here, hidden in your gutter, and there's these waterproof twist-to-connect connectors to make sure that nothing gets damaged. Here's where I'll connect all of the LEDs on each gutter together, and also this long cable from the controller to the linear actuator. And these are what the roller shades are eventually going to connect into. Now you see me running the long power cable from the smart controller down the leg where it'll eventually connect to the voltage regulator, or the power supply. These holes are also where water drains when it collects from the gutters. And now we plug it in to the wall, or the extension cord for now. And now it's time to install louvers. The first of these pivoting louvers that I'm installing connects to the actuator that I mentioned earlier in the video. In the directions, this one's called the drive louver. It's the one that pushes and pulls to rotate all the other louvers. This center slat is also unique in the way that it's a center support brace. It screws in to make sure that the top of the pergola stays square. And outside of that, all the rest of these just slip and slide right into place. There is a proper up and down though, so make sure that that's correct so that water can drain into the gutters when the louvers are closed. Running out of room. Complete! We did it. There's one of these metal flat bars that go onto the top of each of these louvers, connecting them all together. They tighten down, but there's still a little bit of wiggle room, allowing these to all pivot together. I went through and I attached the bar and tightened down all the nuts by hand before then using a drill to get them secured. And after that, I moved my attention to anchoring these feet down. I used a masonry drill bit to drill through the wood decking and into the concrete footing before putting in a concrete anchor and then tightening that down. These anchors came with the Smart Wings Flexar Pergola kit, and they seem to work really well. One piece of advice I have is to make sure that there's not much dust in the hole that you pre-drill. That way, it doesn't interfere with the anchor's ability to go down. Now we're all anchored in. It's definitely windy, but we're feeling sturdy. I just hope it doesn't storm on me. It rained. And our next big step is installing our windproof motorized roller shades. This assembled very easily. I just needed to attach the vertical rails to the roller shade itself, and then Shane and I lifted these into place before I pre-drilled a hole and screwed in these vertical rails at the top, middle, and bottom of each of these legs. These motorized roller shades are one of the things I'm most excited for with this pergola. Here in the Joshua Tree summers, blocking out the sun really makes the outdoor space comfortable. It's a pretty dry heat. This will help make the outdoor space more useful all year round, especially if it's windy and a little chilly out during the fall. And if you didn't know, Smart Wings are experts when it comes to roller shades. I've collaborated with them on a previous video I'll link below. And pairing up these smart roller shades is very simple. Just hold down this button for a couple seconds to get it into pairing mode, and then do the same on the remote control. Then you're good to go. After that, I added this inner track to each of the vertical rails before finishing out by adding trim, and I'll show you what these look like at the end of the video. But first, I need to install an outdoor outlet for this pergola to plug into. Right now, I'm doing a little bit of an in-between solution. I don't want to just run an extension cord to the back deck, but on Amazon, I found this mountable outdoor electrical box that has an outdoor rated plug and a good waterproof box, but on the other end, there's a traditional plug that I can plug in to the outlet just behind this wall. Not a perfect solution, but now we could power this thing up. So cool! And with that, this DIY Smart Wings Flexar Smart Pergola build is complete. Let's check it out. So right off the bat, I love this matte black finish. I think it's super modern and contemporary. Plus, I recently upgraded my windows and it really matches that and ties into the house. I'm really happy about how we were able to lock this in and anchor it down and the amount of shade that this is gonna provide. The motorized louvers look really cool on camera, but they are awesome in person as well. And with the good-looking Helix dial remote, you can control your entire smart pergola. Now that the sun is starting to go down, you can see these LEDs in action, and this really lights up the back deck. So now, even when the weather isn't perfect, I'll still be able to utilize this space to its fullest. I really love these shots showing the louvers close. And what can I say about these roller shades? It is an absolute game changer. Let me know what you think though. So I really can't get over how excited I am for this pergola, and I want to give a big thanks to Smart Wings for making this video possible. And right now, the FlexR Smart Pergola is 25% off the list price on the Smart Wings site. But Smart Wings have been nice enough to provide me with a 50% off list price code that is Modern Builds Mike 50 at checkout, and that's valid through November 10th. I guess Black Friday has come early. And as always, huge thanks to you all for watching. I've got a cool back deck space that now needs some outdoor furniture, so look forward to some videos coming up on that, and we'll see you soon on Modern Builds. Bye, everybody.